Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. In today's video, as usual, let's go over the stock market, see what happened to Tesla, the indices, all that good stuff. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button and let's just get this party started. Tesla ending the day 1.8% up, just shy of $880 per share. Now, I will admit, Tesla is holding up a lot stronger than I thought it would. It's being much more resilient, I guess, than I expected. I still think the chart looks bearish. That doesn't change. Like, my overall thought process hasn't changed on Tesla unless we break 890. If we break 890, or if we somehow like get consistent closure above 885 and start turning 885-ish into resistance, then I'll change my perspective. But I'm still bearish overall on this on the chart. Short term, of course, not overall long term, short term, the next like week or two or something like that. So that's why I'm still looking at it. So I'll explain why that is. So like I said earlier, Tesla is being much more resilient than I expected. So essentially what I did expect happened, which was this right here. This move down today in the, not really morning, it was more like around noon or something like that. Somewhere like this whole level right here. Yeah, from like 11 till like almost 1 o'clock. Like this whole area is what I was expecting would happen. The thing that didn't happen is that I thought once 850 breaks and it kind of stays below it, you can see here it had like a few 5-minute candles closing. It even had like 10-minute candles closing under. And I thought, you know what, like once this happens, like that, this should in theory be confirmation that we're gonna start slowly breaking down to fill this gap at 810. And this was essentially what I was waiting for. I really thought that this confirmation, well, would be confirmation. It obviously wasn't, and we completely rallied back up after the Fed meeting, or not, after Jerome Powell's he was testifying today. So after that was done, the market just rallied, and that was the part that I wasn't expecting. It doesn't change my overall thesis. Like I said, I still believe that it's still looking a little bit bearish. I'm not gonna lie. That has not changed whatsoever. So keep that in mind, guys. I do want to make sure that's still quite obvious. I still think this gap is going to fill. I still think we're going to make another a leg down off of this. I mean, we're going to, this is the leg up, leg down. And then I think as long as this kind of general low 800 holds, I do think that should essentially confirm that the bottom is in theory, the 700 bottom is in. I would be genuinely pretty surprised if we ever break 700 again and go lower. It's technically possible, especially in this kind of market. Don't get me wrong. But, I would definitely be more surprised that if we do break it as opposed to if we don't. So again, essentially now what we're seeing, if we look at it like a little bit more of like a closer time frame, you can see we're making lower highs, right? Ever since this high, lower high and a lower high. So we were kind of in this like triangle right here initially, which we broke down, and then we somehow climbed back up, which again was this was like a disgusting bear trap. Thankfully, I'm not really playing it right now because I'm still kind of in the water on some calls that I sold. Maybe that's why I'm so bearish. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased towards the bearishness side, so I can exit these damn calls that I sold. But nonetheless, this was like a massive bear trap. I think people probably got smoked right here buying puts, 100%. I'd be surprised if people didn't get smoked here with the buying puts. Because this really looked like it was about to break down to the downside to like 810. Like it really, really did. And then we just rallied. So that was like a huge bear trap. But I also believe this is a huge bull trap. This market is just literally full of traps, bear and bull traps, like non-stop, left and right, trap after trap after trap. So be very careful, guys, trading in this market, especially with options. Very volatile, a lot of traps left and right. So be very careful with that. But another thing I'm looking at here is it also, we're kind of setting up a triple top. Like if you look at, let's say, even like a 30-minute candle, right? We never really finished a candle above 885. Like we always kind of went up to that general level, like right around here. And we kept like touching it, somewhere we would push through a bit of here and there, don't get me wrong, but we never really closed above like this 885, like 883, like this general level, like a bam, rejected, bam, rejected, bam, rejected. Remember we talked about this? This is pretty much the same thing happened not too long ago, right? When we were trading in this channel right here. Very similar concept that we talked about. We went up, rejected, rejected, rejected. Essentially the exact same thing is happening. Rejected, rejected, rejected. And we're setting lower lows, or lower highs rather. So I don't know. Again, there's a chance that this somehow flips with this kind of market. You really never know. Like anything can happen. But again, it's all about kind of figuring out what the higher probability of the next move is. And in my honest opinion, I have about like a 75% chance, 70 to 75% chance, in my opinion, that we are looking to play the downside first before we start playing the upside following that. So again, that's my current thought process. The RSI is still looking, overall bearish, still having the bearish divergence. We essentially went up to this 882 level, which is very close to our recent highs of 889. Like, it's only like a 7 points or so off. But again, keeping in mind the RSI just constantly making lower highs over and over and over. I mean, this was kind of like a little breakout of the RSI. If you look at this kind of downtrend, right? It did kind of break out, and I think that's what kind of caused this like massive spike also. So keep that in mind. That's probably a big reason why that happened, and why we spiked up here. But again, I'm still very cautious, or at least I think you should be very cautious in this current market. Now, the one thing that's a little suspicious, not suspicious, but interesting, is the fact that the MACD in the 30-minute did flip bullish. But again, like I said many times, I personally don't care about the MACD that much. The only time I'll ever use the MACD is on like a daily or a weekly. On a daily or a weekly, I'll use the MACD. Other than that, I think short term, I think the MACD is just not good to use, man. I really don't think it's good. Like, it's looking pretty decent on the daily, actually. It's flipped slightly bullish on the daily, which is good. But again, even if we drop down to 810, like, I don't think that's like an insane move down. Like, it is going to hurt, of course, a little bit, but it's nothing completely ridiculous. It's about an 8% move down, right? And I think off of that, we're going to definitely bounce. I really do. Like, I genuinely believe that we will probably hold around this low 800 level, and I think that should confirm the bottom is in. And I think from there, we should look up to start coming up to retest this channel, which will probably be around the same level by the time we do. Like, if we do like this, and come back and retest this, we'll probably just revisit the current level we're at, which will also coincide with the retest of this kind of, overall trend that we're still in for like the longest time ever, literally months. And I think that will finally break out. And I think that as it breaks out, will also push us to retest this line once again. And then once we break past the teal line, that's when things get interesting. So taking a look at the weekly, you can see it's actually doing a very good job of trying to push through this. It's actually closing slightly above it, but there's still 2 more days. And unfortunately, the 2 days coming up, it's the Thursday and Friday, with still the whole Ukraine and Russia crisis happening. A lot of people are going to be pretty hesitant to hold into the weekend for that. So again, keep that in mind, guys. I don't know. It's a hard market to predict. It really is. This is a very, very difficult market that we're currently in. But again, the probability, it's all about probability. In my opinion, the probability of us going lower short term, again, the next week or so, is higher than going higher than what we're currently at. Again, the way you want to look at it, guys, is pretty much the easiest way to think about it from now on is if we ever break the highs over here of around pretty much 890, let's just make it easy. If we ever break and go up to 890, then I actually think we might, we're looking for a short-term bullish move up to probably test this channel. Maybe honestly passing even into the 900s. There is a decent chance. And then probably get rejected around like 930, 40 again. But until we break 890, I'm still bearish. And then especially if we ever break this low right here, around this 846-ish level, if this ever breaks and we set a lower low again, then that's pretty much confirmation that we're most likely going to be coming down to fill this first before we do anything else. Quick look at the indices before I make this video too long. So the QQQ actually looks a little bit better in my opinion than the SPY. The QQQ, I mean, it's still kind of triple topping over here. Or was it the SPY that looked better? No, sorry, it was the SPY that looked better. The QQQ actually looks like it's triple topping as well. Similar to Tesla, you can see rejection, 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 right? So essentially, right, this general like 348 to 350 level, just huge rejection, cannot break past the just constant selling pressure. You can see with the wicks, like every time we go past anywhere this area right here, like it's just followed by like an insane amount of selling pressure over and over and over and over again, right? And that happened 3 times. Usually a triple top is like pretty bearish, so keep that in mind. On the flip side, however, the SPY actually not looking as bad as the QQQ, which is weird because like they usually move fairly in tandem. Like obviously they can move a little bit differently, but usually if one of them is up, the other one tends to be up as well ish. It's never like, it's not like the Dow where the Dow can be up like 3%, but then like the QQQ can be down. QQQ can be down 3%. They're usually fairly correlated ish to each other, right? They move fairly in tandem. So that's the part that's confusing. Now we did end up closing this candle below this line overall, so. But I don't know, the SPY isn't looking as bad. Like the SPY is looking like, there's actually a higher chance that the SPY might actually look to make a move up to this maybe 440 level, much more than the QQ moving up to like, let's say the 354 level or something like that. So I don't know, that's the way I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, guys. That's my current analysis. That's what I'm currently thinking. Again, keep in mind, Thursday, Friday coming up. Pretty spooky days as usual, especially with the whole Ukraine and Russia crisis happening, which is ridiculous, of course. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm looking at right now, guys. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the next update video. So until then, thanks for watching. Peace, peace, peace.